Getting the lead out is no easy task.
Lead became a very important part of paint manufacturers' product. It was a great way to keep the paint stable, and it actually was a great thing for the paint itself for a period of time. At some point in the past, it was discovered that lead was a harm to children, was exposing children to these risks. And at some point in time, this obviously lead was not used in paint anymore.
But removing lead from paint hasn't removed the problem. In fact, it's buried the problem under layers of new paint from years of neglect.
You can't see the lead dust that actually does the contamination and poisoning of our children. I never forget, because it was September 3rd, 1999, and we received that call and was told to rush her to the emergency room. My assumption was that my daughter was going to be treated and she's going to be normal again. But what became a biggest problem is, again, not knowing what it was and then not knowing how to manage it. One thing that made myself and others want to build a coalition of parents, a grassroots organization, is that I was not told anything about lead poisoning while my daughter was admitted in the hospital. I was not given pamphlets. I was not given any numbers to call. I was not given anything.
I've seen a very tiny test tube with a very tiny amount of substance in the bottom of it. And it's a shockingly small amount that can cause the hazard.
Certainly then affects their ability to perform, their capacity to perform within the educational system. It affects them behaviorally.
It can have an impact on aggression, and ultimately there's data that shows a link with juvenile delinquency and lead exposure. But what it's doing is reducing this child's ability to learn to the best of their ability.
With some of the oldest housing stock in Cleveland, the residents of Mount Pleasant have turned to the city, county, and the St. Luke's Foundation for help.
We do a number of things between our environmental health workers, staff, and our nurses. We respond to kids who have elevated blood lead levels to assess their home, to determine where the hazards are.
The St. Luke's Foundation has, first of all, facilitated the formation of this collaborative. That collaborative really didn't exist before. It really was not simply St. Luke's resources, financial resources that helped that, but I think St. Luke's vision, which came along with the resources.
For the first time in our history, our long history of addressing this problem, we have the ability to think about elimination and what that might look like.